has a very special when I was Prime Minister. And I walked round the ground with Archbishop Runcie, Bob Runcie, who was a great cricket fan, so there was the Prime Minister, the Archbishop of Canterbury, together with Jim Swanton, who we'll all remember so fondly. And as we walked round, a voice cried out from the crowd, "Who are those two men with Jim Swanton?" Cricket lovers have a very proper sense of priority.
Yeah.
And then, of course, almost my first memory of cricket was the 1950 Test trial when Hubert Doggett of Sussex was captain of one of the teams, and Jim Laker of Surrey took 8 wickets for 2 runs and totally wrecked the Test trial. And as the wickets fell, poor old Hubert Doggett sat there speaking distractedly to the Bedser twins. And he said to Alec, "Where were you born, Alec?" And Alec said, "Reading." And he turned to Eric and said, "Where were you born, Eric?" Eric said, "Reading. My mother didn't have a bike in those days." And there is, of course, a great canon of cricket literature. And many great authors have loved cricket and written superbly about it. P.G. Wodehouse was one. Wodehouse's great creation, Jeeves the Butler, was actually named after Percy Jeeves, a Warwickshire all-rounder.
Wow.
And Wodehouse was always very proud of it. And then Sir Arthur Conan Doyle played first-class cricket and took 1 wicket only. And that wicket was W.G. Grace.
Wow.
And Charles Dickens had a cricket ground next to his Gad's Hill home. And Anthony Trollope had a character called Sir Kennington Oval. Very remarkable man. And of course, Dorothy Sayers' great detective Peter Wimsey was said to have scored 100 for Oxford. And then Turner and Picasso both painted cricket as well. So cricket tells you a great deal about people. Conan Doyle loved cricket, Professor Moriarty did not. Montgomery loved cricket, Field Marshal Montgomery loved cricket, Field Marshal Rommel did not. Sir Mackley loved cricket, he was a great cricket supporter. He even installed a press association machine at number 10 for the cricket scores. I'm told Tony Blair replaced it with a mirror. Well, I was told that by a spin doctor, so it may not be true.
Very good.
I always thought you could tell when a spin doctor was lying because their lips moved. Now, Montgomery's father, old Bishop Montgomery, lived sufficiently close to the Oval to hear the crowds cheering when Jack Hobbs was batting. And Montgomery himself, you may remember, once told his troops to hit Rommel for 6.
Wow.
And Montgomery was at the Oval for Don Bradman's last Test innings, when famously he was bowled second ball by Eric Hollis for a duck. And as Bradman went back through the pavilion, he was stopped by Field Marshal Montgomery. And the conversation went as follows. Montgomery said, "Bradman, let me tell you where you went wrong." The absurdity of telling the greatest run-getter in cricket where he went wrong had apparently escaped Monty. Of course, he had no sense of irony, Montgomery. He once remarked, "As God said, and he may have been right." So he was a pretty remarkable man. Where does cricket come from?
India.
Wrong and wrong. Very good. I'll come to both those points in just a moment. Thank you very much. 17th century soldiers and sailors carried cricket all around the world. Many military men loved the game, although you may not have known that cricket played a part in 2 world wars. In the First World War, a soldier, Major H.C. Luther of Sussex, was wounded at the Battle of Le Cateau And he lay there, quite seriously wounded on the ground, while the German soldiers were marching across the ground to see what had happened and picking up their own wounded. And the rumours at the time was that the Germans shot damaged prisoners, and Luther sat there pretending to be dead. And a German soldier came over to him, looked at him, ruffled into his pockets to take out his papers, and then said to him, "You are a very lucky man. I see you are a member of the MCC.
Wow.
You can go back to your lines." And the German soldier had been a land agent in Derbyshire. And Luther did go back to his lines and lived until he was 80.
Wow. Wow.
And then in the Second World War, a name many of you may not remember, a lovely old man called Sir George Edwards. Great Surrey and great friend of the Bedser twins. They used to play cricket together as boys. And he was sitting alongside me on the Oval balcony. And there he was in his early 90s. Picture this very